A lot of people from the past and from the present attribute their success to note-taking. We hear all the time about how successful people carry a notebook wherever they go. But what do they actually write down? What are they taking notes on? So before I looked into it more closely, I assumed that it's one of three things. Either they write down ideas that come to them and then they think that maybe later they might turn them into a project or they might use them in a different way. Or it's something that they want to remember. So they, suddenly a thought comes to their mind like, oh, I need to buy this thing. So they write it down so they don't forget it and they don't have to think about it. Or they use it for either studying or writing down notes from books they read. But there is actually way more to it. There are so many ways how you can turn a simple notebook into a tool that's going to enhance your life. I looked at the people from the past like Leonardo da Vinci or Thomas Edison and studied how they used the notebook and in what way they took notes. I look at many people and most of them, they use their notebook or the system of note-taking was in a way that you would predict based on what we know what they did and what they were interested in. But there were three people in particular where I thought like, that's interesting. Like I would have not really thought of that. And I think that it's also really applicable to our life. So in today's video, I'm going to show you those three things and tell you how you can use it in your life. If you're interested, like this video and don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Okay, let's get straight into it. The first person I would like to draw inspiration from is Benjamin Franklin. One of the ways how he used his notebooks was to track his virtues. So he came up with 13 virtues that he wanted to live by and he believed that that's how he's going to build his character. There is even a website 13virtues.com where you can go and check out what those 13 virtues were and their description so you can get some inspiration if you are interested. So what Benjamin Franklin did with his notebook is he took one page and on this page he would write down in the first column all his virtues. He would always use the first letter of each virtue and then the next columns would be for the days of the week, Monday, Tuesday and so on. And then at the end of the day, he would open the notebook and he would see if he lived by those virtues. And if he failed at certain virtue, he would make a mark under that day next to that virtue. And the idea was to live a clean life, meaning that there would be no markings whatsoever. And what Benjamin Franklin also did was he would rotate those virtues. So every week there would be a different virtue at the top of the list. And he made sure that he would 100% live by that virtue that was on the top of the list. So within 13 weeks he would go through all the virtues and at least for 1 week he would live a clean life in that virtue. And that is really important because it's easy to focus on those that are easier and then completely ignore the ones that are more difficult. So Benjamin Franklin had this rotation in practice to ensure that he doesn't ignore those virtues that are a bit more difficult. And this is a great way how you can use your notebook to track your healthy habits or even like Benjamin Franklin, your virtues. I actually made videos on similar techniques. One is the don't break the chain, which is here, and another one is the paperclip strategy, which you can check out here after you finish this video. It's all for visual people. So if you are a visual person, give it a try. It might really help you to keep track of your healthy habits and the way how you would like to live. The second person is Alexis de Tocqueville. He used notebooks throughout his whole life, but particularly when he was traveling. What he did, he created sections in his notebooks and he titled them according to the interests he had. So he would have a section on jewelry and bankruptcy, conversations, interviews, and many others. And when he came across an interesting information, he would immediately sort it out and write it under the category where it belonged. I think that this way of writing down notes can be useful in several ways. Firstly, you don't have to sort it out later, and that might sound like a very easy and obvious thing to do, but how many times do we write down stuff in a notebook and say like, oh, I will organize it later, but we never actually come around to do that, and then we end up with 60 pages full of notes, and then when we want to find this one quote that we are sure we wrote down, it's just gone lost and we cannot find it. Secondly, and even more importantly, if you section your notebook into areas of professional or personal development that you would like to improve on, it's going to ensure that you're not ignoring one part, because you will see that this week you wrote down 5 things in this category but none in this one. So for example, I do CrossFit and I'm a CrossFit level 1 trainer, and although I don't train at the moment, I still like to keep up with the information and learn something new. And when it comes to CrossFit, it's not just improving in CrossFit or learning something new about CrossFit. There are many areas. So I can focus on general conditioning, strength, gymnastics, working around injuries, nutrition, stretching, and so on and so on. And it's very easy to just start looking into one topic and then go down the rabbit hole into some kind of super small details and completely forget about another area. And I'm not saying that you need to read one article every week on each of those areas. It's completely fine to focus on one area for a certain period of time, whether it's 1 week, 3 months, or even 1 year. But having those sections is going to ensure that you are aware where you're spending time and where you're learning new things. So another way how you can use this sectioning your notebook is for your goals. You can have one section for each of your goals and then write down what you have done. It can be part of your daily or weekly routine. And it gives you an overview of what you have done for the particular goal for that week, and if you are not ignoring certain goals. And I have something like that. I have a notebook where I have first part is for goals that are up to 1 month long. Then I have goals that I would like to reach, or not I would like to reach within 5 to 6 months, but they take longer period of time. So it's going to take about 5 to 6 months. And then I have goals that are longer. So, it can go into years or even longer. And then for each of the goals, I have part of a notebook and I write down up there what I want to do and by when I want to achieve it. And then I have some actions there that I need to take. I don't write down all the actions. I just write down the first, 5, 6 action steps. And then I review that every week. And again, it's completely okay to ignore a certain goal for month or even longer if you're focusing on a different goal. But this gives you a great overview on where you're spending time, what you're focusing on, and if you are maybe ignoring certain goal. In another video of mine, I talk about the importance of stepping outside of your comfort zone and learning new experiences and getting better in your openness to experience and how it contributes to your overall success in life. And I gave you a lot of ideas what you can do. And I believe that this kind of sectioning of a notebook is one way how you can track it. So let's say that you have several categories like traveling, meeting new people and learning new things, experiencing new things, etc. And you section those notebooks in those categories. You can use it in 2 ways. One way would be you keep a running list of ideas. So when something comes to your mind, you're like, oh, this is something I would like to try, you write it down. So when the time comes, because in the video I suggested if you really want to improve that, you schedule new experiences every week. And it might be difficult when you sit down on Sunday afternoon to think of something new right on that spot. So having a list of things where you can come and check it out and it's like, okay, this actually fits my schedule, I can do this week, can be really beneficial. Another way how you can use it is to keep track of what you have actually done in each of those categories. Again, to ensure that you're not ignoring a certain category, because if you are traveling a lot and you're trying new things, but you haven't actually met anyone new, you didn't get to know some new person, maybe this is actually where the growth will happen. Having this notebook sectioned with those categories and seeing that you've done 3 things in this category, 3 things in this category, and nothing in this, well, that's an indication you should focus on that category. And ideally, you would pair those 2 things together. So you would have a section of traveling, and one part of it would be things, ideas, and another part would be the things you have actually done. The third person I would like to talk about is George C. Marshall. It was said that he had a gift for putting the right people in the right positions. But as usual, it was not so much a gift, more a system. He carried his notebook with him wherever he went, and when he met someone that he thought this person might have a leadership potential, he would write that person's name in his notebook together with strengths and other characteristics. It was then easy when the time came to choose the right person for a job. And he also was able to support the person, or to make sure that the person gets the support that they need, because he was aware of where they will shine and where they might have some weaknesses. So if you're a leader or you aspire to be one, this might be something you could consider doing. And even if you don't have any leadership aspirations, this might be a good thing to do when networking, so you actually remember the information about people that you meet. I hope this video inspired you to get a notebook and start using it in a new way, and that it is going to enhance your life. If you have been using a notebook, let me know down below how. I'm really curious. Subscribe to this channel, it really helps other people to discover me on YouTube. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.